What can I say? Different gravy, as my older brother would put it. I don't know what video that's from. It's from something. That was just fantastic. Being honest, to win 4-0 away in arguably, well, in my opinion, like the fiercest club rivalry in the UK in terms of how fans hate each other. Like that was just fantastic. How on earth we've come here with not our strongest squad. We've got a lot of people out injured, and to win 4-0, Saints, wow, well done. Really, really good. And I guess you can say there's a massive golfing class in terms of like they're in League One, we're in the Premier League. But at the same time, in a derby, 4-0 is ridiculously good. I feel for Jacket. I feel like there's definitely a chance he's going to get fired now just because of their start to the season, and losing 4-0 in a derby, that's not good enough. Like, if you're going to lose, you have to lose well, and towards the end of the game, Pompey looked out of it, and they looked like they were going to lose. But yeah, the most important thing is that Saints have won again. Of course they have. And it's in the Cup, I know. I much prefer, realistically, that the wins came in the Premier League. But when you got a chance to win at Fratton Park against Portsmouth in the night time, not under the old floodlights anymore, which would have been just made it perfect. But like that's just brilliant, and I'm so happy that Saints have come out of the blocks and just showed what class is and how you're meant to play as a Premier League side. And that's not me saying that Pompey didn't do anything, because I think that actually the first half 2-0 was maybe a bit harsh. I think Portsmouth played well for the first 25 minutes-ish, but then just the golf in playing quality and like, I guess, like player value and that kind of thing, it was clear to see by the end of the game. But like, I think that today was a good example of how we could, like, Saints as a team can mix things up and play a different shape to what we've been trying recently. Recently we've actually been trying to play with a 5 at the back, which kind of worked last season a little bit, but this season's been a bit dodgy for us. But today we've come in with a 4-3-3 formation with a few random players playing in weird positions, like Obafemi on the wing, and I think Ings on the left wing as well, which was very strange. But it's worked, and it's good that even in the midst of, like, we want to play a really strong side in a formation that we trust, because this derby is really important. I think it's good that we've been able to experiment even in that, in terms of shape, in terms of players. I think that's really good that we've managed to just play, kind of have a little bit of an experiment. I don't think there was any doubt we were going to win this, like whether we were going to win this game or not. We had to win it, and we were going to. But I'm just glad we didn't concede, because for the first 25 minutes I think Portsmouth looked good. As I say, there were a few chances they had. There was one, they hit the post. I wouldn't say it was a big chance, so I wouldn't really count that as like a let-off for us. But they hit the post from like a long-range curler, and what I can say is McCarthy, I don't know what he was actually doing in that scenario. He was very much out of position and kind of marking the wrong post. He wasn't on his near post, and they hit the post, and it was a good shot. Didn't go in though, which is the most important thing. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to do what I normally do, and give my opinions on how players played during the match, and kind of sum up the events as best as I can. Talk about how I feel, how we could feel going forward as Saints fans, because I think this is a good game, and we've got a positive outlook out of it. So brief look at the stats. I mean, we had 62% possession, 9 shots on target. We only had 1 corner, and we fouled them a bit more. But like, stats aren't important. So let's go through the Southampton squad, and I'll tell you how I feel about them. So Alex McCarthy, he's only played 1 game so far this season, and that was against Fulham in the Cup, a game that I actually went to. That was a good game, interesting, and he played well in that game too. So I guess it's good that he's now got 2 clean sheets out of 2 games this season. It's kind of a shame, because he was our number 1 keeper. Now we've kind of got Angus Gunn in there. I think he's good, and I think he played relatively well today. He made a good save from a corner at some point in the first half, but realistically he was kept quiet. In the second half he made a really, really good punch out of a really crowded penalty area when Portsmouth had a corner. So for the most part, I think McCarthy had a really good game, apart from that time he didn't mark the right post for that long-range speculative effort. Cedric Suarez, he actually scored. That's amazing. I'm so proud of Cedric, because the last season he was put out of the team by Yann Valery, just basically a young French kid with no previous experience, and just ripped apart the team really. Valery was one of our star players this season. I think he won He won Goal of the Season and he won Young Player of the Season. But Cedric's come in recently because Valerie went off injured. I can't remember when. I think it was after the Brighton game when he got fouled. So I think he's just come in and done a fantastic job, Cedric. He's been playing in some weird positions, but today he got to play where he likes on the right back with a back four, but he played brilliantly, pushing up high, coming back and defending, put some really good blocks in our box, but for the most part, the best thing he did was the goal. And Ollie and I were watching this game thinking, why on earth is Cedric playing in centre midfield? And then Danny Ings just does a fantastic little run, manages to get round the defender, play it into the box. And Cedric's there, doesn't need to do anything with the ball, just toe poke it into the goal. And it was such a weird position for him to crop up into, but it was smart play, and that shows that he really has a desire to play. His celebrations in front of the Saints fans were fantastic. It looks like he's got a lot of passion, and he's really fighting for his place in the squad. And I'm very proud of him, and I'm very proud that he scored today. Bednarek, I think, played again. Recently, he hasn't been playing fantastically well. He made a mistake in the last game, along with Angus Gunn, for us to concede the third goal against Bournemouth. But today, he looked really, really solid. Pretty much did everything that he used to do last season, where he was arguably he definitely was our best defender last season. So I'm glad that he managed to keep a clean sheet today and looked strong, even when we were only playing two at the back. Yoshida, wow, I'm so pleased he played 90 minutes of the game. He's such a long-serving member of our team, and for him to play 90 minutes in a derby as big as that, I'm just immensely proud. I'm really glad that Hassan Utul actually played him, because it must have meant a lot to Yoshi and it meant a lot to the Saints fans. We could really get behind him, and he played really well. A few times I think the referee was very, very harsh against him. Some fouls that he didn't even touch players, and I think he got yellow carded. No, Bertrand got yellow carded, because I think the referee thought that what Yoshida had done was Bertrand. Regardless of who got yellow carded, it should have been a yellow card. But that was quite funny. But yeah, I think Yoshida played a really, really good game. Got a clean sheet. I think he actually played better than Bednarek. In my opinion, he was good at slowing the game down, just turning back, played some really good passes just to slow the game down back to McCarthy. And so well done, Yoshi. Congratulations on another fantastic performance. Bertrand got a yellow card, wasn't deserved. I think he pushed very, very high up, and whilst I love that and I love how direct that is, I'd like to see him link up with Redmond a bit more. I think that it left our defence a little bit exposed, especially as we were only playing four at the back. So we often actually saw Højbjerg slip into the left when Bertrand ran up. But occasionally that wasn't the case, and Yoshida looked a bit exposed at the left-hand side. But I think Bertrand played well. He has the experience of that kind of game. He's able to rile up a crowd and just take any abuse that's hurled at him, because there was a lot. He's a really, really good time waster. And yeah, I think he had a good performance. Ward-Prowse, again, played really well. I think all of our centre midfielders were immense today. And for my out of defenders, strikers, midfielders, even though the midfielders didn't score, they were my favourite players on the pitch, hands down. So I kind of guess I have to group them in this, but Ward-Prowse and Højbjerg looked brilliant. They were constantly pressing and just winning the ball back, even when we were in really bad defensive situations. When players had their back to Højbjerg, especially, he was just gunning through. He constantly nabbed it off of Portsmouth players' toes and was able to get a break on. Both looked really fast, really direct, and were playing fantastic passes. And so Ward-Prowse and Højbjerg together were brilliant. Arguably even better was Oriol Romeu, who has been fantastic the last few games. Realistically, our defensive performances should be a lot better with someone playing in front like Romeu. But I just don't think our defenders are up to scratch compared to him. And he's just so good, slowing the game down, coming and receiving the ball, and just being direct and yet sedentary and just solid right in front of the defenders. And Romeu is one of my favourite players on the team at the moment, just because of how good his performances have been, regardless of the final score. So, midfielders, my favourite players on the pitch. And well done, midfielders. I don't know why I keep congratulating people with a little clap. Anyway, Obafemi. who started on the wing, which was a bit interesting for me because obviously he's a striker. I guess against Portsmouth, they've got a lot of tall players. He's not going to be playing up front, but he started on the right-hand side, and he played there for 72 minutes and played really well. I think at the start of the game, he looked a bit out of it. He normally looks a bit leggy, actually, Obafemi, but he played really well. He got into the game about 20 minutes and just... Wow, what an assist for Danny Ings in his second goal. Played really well. Played well defensively, actually, coming back, tracking back. I think he played better defensively than Redmond Redmond did when he came onto the right-hand side. So I'm proud of him. He won a lot of free kicks for us, was able to slow down the game. And I think, maybe he could be a replacement for Redmond on the right-hand side. Because obviously Boufal and Genepo, they're kind of like playing on the left. Same with Redmond, I guess, but we put him on the right today. So maybe Obafemi could play on the right-hand side because he's got pace, he's got a bit of strength, and he doesn't have height. So it might be a good position for him, but I think he played really well. Redmond replaced him 72 minutes, scored an absolute worldie, and that's just vintage Nathan Redmond. That's exactly the kind of goal he should be scoring all the time. And we saw it last season a few times against Burnley, and against Bournemouth on the final day, and he is just fantastic at that kind of direct play, and especially when defenders are really tired, really fatigued, and he just tore them apart. His goal was fantastic because he just didn't give up on the ball. It was he made a poor touch. Defending was relatively lackluster, let's be honest. It was right at the end of the game, everyone was tired, but he pushed and kept the ball and put in a fantastic near post strike, and I'm so glad he's back in the team. I hope he can start our next game because he is definitely our best player in terms of attack and most dangerous player. I think everyone loves Nathan Redmond, really. And yeah, and he got a goal in a derby, and that's just going to mean the world to him considering he's been out for a while injured. Che Adams again hasn't scored, and if I had a choice between Danny Ings getting a hat-trick today and Che Adams scoring, I would have taken Che scoring just so that he has that confidence going into the next few games. It's such a shame that he hasn't scored yet. But saying that, I think he played really well today. He played a really good pass. I think it was him. Did he play the pass through to Obafemi for Ings? I can't actually remember. But he's played really, really well recently. Even though he hasn't scored, he's looked good. A good target man to pick out balls to and hold the ball up and let people play off of him. Kind of what Danny Ings would normally play. But yeah, he looked fantastic. Adams today, it's a shame he didn't score. Maybe a bit kind of slow on the ball. When he had a few opportunities to run at defenders, he looked a little bit slow and kind of forgot the ball on a few occasions. But he played well, and he played really well considering most of our threat comes from wide areas cutting inside. So that's all I can say. We just need him to get a goal. So come on, Shay, keep it up. You can do it. I've seen you smack them in training, so just do it in a match and then we'll all be happy. And then, of course, the main man who scored twice today, Danny Ings. Wow, 10 out of 10 performance, man of the match. He's playing on the left-hand side of a front three. Really strange position for him to be cropping up into, but he was immense, constantly charging down defenders and being someone to play off of, and he scored twice. The first goal, he was unlucky to his first shot wasn't amazing, it went kind of straight out the keeper, but the second goal was really, really good, and just made us all scream in the house. It was fantastic. And the second one, even better. What a ball from Obafemi, and little dink over the keeper, and he played fantastically. He came off on the 83rd minute. That's a lot of minutes for Danny Ings, to be honest, because we tend to actually take him off a bit earlier to save his fitness, because obviously he's quite an injury-prone man. That's one thing I can say about today, is that we didn't actually get any injuries as far as I could tell, which is rare for us, because normally everyone's picking up knocks, particularly Obafemi and Ings, Bertrand as well. So it was really good to see that no one hurt themselves. Don't turn off the light. And Shane Long came on for the final 7 minutes or so and looked great. Just leggy, pacey, kind of dragging defenders around a bit and just trying his hardest. He had like one shot on goal. It was a bit speculative. He was kind of turning as he shot. But I mean, he looks like he's very useful as a substitute striker, as I think we all know. He can tire people out when they're already tired. so he played well for when he came on. But realistically, it was a fantastic all-round team performance. I can't think of really any negatives to take apart from mostly because I think Portsmouth played well, and I don't think I guess they're playing against a Premier League team. There aren't many things they have to be harsh against themselves for, because obviously we're meant to be on a different level, and we are on a different level, and we were today. But yeah, there aren't really many negatives, and I think as a team we should be immensely proud of today, and I think that Hasenhüttl should be immensely proud of what everyone did, and himself as well, because it was a good team selection, good formation, and great tactics to come out of the blocks on the second half and keep pushing and just make sure that they don't get the start to the second half that they did for the first. The only other thing I can say about today was I think that the referee wasn't amazing. I don't normally comment on referees in these videos, but I think that today it wasn't a fantastic performance by him. I don't like being harsh, but there were so many chances for just like not just give a foul, but it should have been so many free kicks and just little pushes and pulls on like Shea Adams that we should have won free kicks for. So everything in the middle of the park, very niggly. It wasn't a very violent derby apart from the fans not violent. I saw a few throws of the ball towards our players, but that's about it, I guess. You can't really expect fans to run on the pitch and punch people. Obviously, you don't have Jack Grealish in our team. But yeah, I think the referee could have done a bit better. I think he actually looked a bit biased to Portsmouth. If anything, I don't think he had a fantastic game, regardless of who he was like batting for, I guess. So Portsmouth didn't get a few decisions they needed, and we definitely didn't get some decisions we needed. He yellow carded the wrong player, so it wasn't fantastic by him, but I guess I can't really complain. We won 4-0. So anyway, I'm going to go and look at our fixtures for next time. Whilst I do that, I'm going to let you guys know that I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, make sure you leave a like. Comment down below what you thought of the game, your feedback on how Saints played, how Portsmouth played, maybe. I'd like to see some like opposing decisions and like opinions. What are your thoughts on Jacket? Should he stay? Should he go? And subscribe if you want to see more of my thoughts on Southampton games. I'm hoping soon, if some big games happen, that I can do some comments on bigger like matches, especially with the Champions League back now. Like that would be really good fun. And yeah, so Saints next Saturday have Tottenham away, so I can't really expect us to get a point there. Chelsea at home, which could be interesting. I mean, coming off the back of the Liverpool game, I could see we could maybe get a point, especially if we're playing at home. And then Wolves away, who haven't looked amazing defensively this season, and then Leicester at home. So for the next 4 games, I'm kind of expecting 3 or 4 points. I'm not aiming high because I think they're quite tough. And like the teams that you think you could play well against, they're away games. So we could play Tottenham at home the same way we did last season, and we could play Wolves at home, but away a completely different kettle of fish. So yeah, 4 points for the next 4 games. We'll see how accurate my predictions have been after those 4 games, but I hope that you guys have a lovely rest of your week. I will see you on Saturday for the Tottenham-Southampton game. Until then, I hope that you are very well, and as I say, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye!